away games. I seem to have been watching the sort of same game last three matches. Is that something you agree with? A similar sort of performance?
Not really, I would say. For me, we had more than enough of the game. That said, what I would say is we had, in my opinion, a number of individuals that weren't at the best, but I still think we've had more than enough of the game. We're well on top of it. Second goal kills us off, realistically, although there was still time, but we were well on top of the game. But we kind of, if you watch the game back, it's easy to see we didn't start well because of conceding the goal, but started okay. I think it maybe their first attack, like first or second attack. We'd had a chance with Harry at the other end, maybe a better touch. And I think on the night, the goalkeeper got the man of the match. So I'm not sure it can be, all the same. However, like I said, we still need to be better. I'm not disputing that. But in terms of the actual game itself, I felt like we had enough within it. We didn't take any of our sort of opportunities. I think the one when Misha goes through was good football. Wanted him just to lift it, keep the next save. We nearly scored from a corner, and then they break on us and score the second. So that, like I said, was really disappointing. We look back at the goals quickly there, and there's a few mistakes in both, and that can often be the case. But they're poor mistakes, realistically, from not just one individual, from a couple of players involved in each one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They were bad goals from your point of view, weren't they?
I believe so. They started. They'll take a very good goal on their side, and I don't want to, take their view away from them. But for us, we didn't early on. What I would say is we didn't commit to pressing the play as we should, and I don't know why, because that was the instruction. Got caught in between, and when that happens, you end up not really doing anything. I think that allowed him out for the first goal. A couple of other situations, particularly down our left side, where we, like I said, we don't really do anything. And as I said, when you carry in a few individuals on the night, that is going to make your life difficult. Because I do think if we'd turned up today and been at its best, like I said, I still felt we had enough of the game, but we didn't manage to get on the score sheet.
And the second goal coming when it did, just as you say, you were getting on top of the game then, and you've been very close yourselves, and to break up the other end, and that sort of killed the momentum, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I think there were a couple out there that still believed, and maybe a couple that dropped their heads. And you've still got to keep going, because 2-0, we've seen it before. You get a goal back, and it becomes nervy for the home side. But we couldn't force that. But certainly, the start of the second half in particular, I thought we were well on top of it. And if I'm honest, at one stage I thought it was just a matter of time until we were going to score. We didn't, and that's what ends up with obviously a result that we didn't want.
When you spoke to Matt Dean, I think it was yesterday, you weren't quite sure that Sam Bell would start. You decided to go with him. Why, and how do you think you did?
I think because we wanted to try and get another goal scorer on the pitch. Kinnear calls for John McAtee. I'd love to have John McAtee from the start, but he's not ready to play 90 minutes yet. Far from it. And I thought Sam did quite well, to be honest. I thought he looked a threat and sort of looked like something might drop for him. He got the lad booked. I think he did slip, in fairness, their player, but at the same time he sort of pounced on a mistake, showed some nice touches. I think that was one of the brighter moments. I think he really got himself out early on, and a bit of emotion, I would imagine, as well, with everything. So that's why he came off. He just got cramped there. But he was one of the sort of brighter players for us.
Is it difficult about some of your players to know about their consistency? That you particularly you can look at one who got man of the match Friday, and today hardly got a kick, and things like that.
Well, I think that's I've brought obviously quite a few of these players to the football club, and I think so far they've showed us that they can be good players. A lot of them, at least. But as you said, the magic, I guess, skill, if you like, is consistency. and some are a little too up and down. And when a team is playing really well, some individuals get carried along with that, and it's kind of an easy job to have. The difficulty is when things aren't quite going right, and what you bring to that performance overall.
Yeah, early in the season you were going behind quite a few times and coming back. What's changed then?
I'm not sure, Johnny, if we're totally honest. I think kind of a lot of the personnel is similar, certainly. In terms of how we set up, it's pretty similar, more often than not. But ultimately, you know, I say to the players a lot, you end up at a level, over time at least, where you probably should be. And I think, you know, at the minute I'm wanting some players to prove that they're not quite where they need to be because they can go higher. And I still think tonight we've had players out there that are good players that I think Neil would like in his squad and his team. But it's about winning games of football, and I fully, you know, accept that. We've got to be prepared at times if it means it being uglier to win, and then that's what we'll do. Now, I don't buy into that's an absolutely kind of terrible performance. I think we have watched enough of this league and enough games that it's some really kind of poor football at times, different football. So we're trying to put an entertaining sort of style on it, but at the same time, you know, I'm aware we need to try to win games doing so.
You need that knockout blow, don't you?
Yeah, and we were doing that, and we've, you know, at times, I think today I look at it, I think we got our head on quite a few corners and things like that. Things are bobbling around. Some days they go for you, others they don't. But there are also a couple that I'm looking at thinking, have we got enough, you know, desire to really get in where it hurts? Or we stood on the outside hoping that someone else maybe, you know, gets on the end of it or it goes straight in. I think we've got to be more alive and committed. A couple of things come out on the edge of the box. We've got men on the edge of the box and we're backing off, and then they just clear the ball, and that's a frustration, I guess, from myself. You know, the dressing room's a quiet place in there. I think they know there was a chance missed tonight. And as we said, I think it was yesterday, the run of games doesn't get any easier, you know, starting on Saturday. So I know people might not want to hear it, but I genuinely believe I'm going to learn a lot about these players, and that will ultimately determine what we attempt to do with the squad as we move forward.
Some more disappointing news today. Ryan Sears found guilty of drink driving.
Yeah.
What are your views on that, and what is the club going to do?
Well, obviously we don't condone anything like that type of behaviour, but ultimately it will be dealt with internally. He's had his punishment, and other than that, you know, the club will be making no further comment.
Will he stay at the club?
Well, as I said, at the minute the club will make no further comment.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.